Coming against SMU at 11. Get your tickets at GoTigersGoTix.com. During the month of November, you can purchase tickets to any of the 3 remaining home games for just $80 with the Chick-fil-A family plan. This includes 4 tickets and 4 Chick-fil-A meal vouchers for just $80, a savings of over $50. Hurry now and don't wait on this great deal. November 6th against SMU at 11 o'clock. Sponsored by Conway Services and the Commercial Appeal.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5-Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Back rolling along. Hour number 2, Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats No Stats. Stats will be back next week. AutoZone listener line 901-360-8255. Also, watch us live. Message us Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. Sports56WHBQ.com. If you have missed any podcast hours of any shows, we start at 7, we end at 6. Go to Sports56WHBQ.com. You can check out our featured audio. You can check out our podcast right there, very conveniently on the site. Now, yesterday, I teased this before we went to the break. Yesterday, Steve Smith Sr., who was on NFL Network before Thursday Night Football, had a message for Baker Mayfield. And this message wasn't all that nice.
Who are pretty good, and Baker Mayfield isn't. Now, I know Baker may not like this because I know he hears things, but, son, let me just tell you something. Focus in, folks.
I would have loved to hear.
You're not very good, and Odell is moving on because of you, bro.
Odell's moving on.
I feel sorry for Jarvis.
Odell is moving on because of you, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Bottom line. Now,
you're not good enough.
Look, I just sort of explained in a different way how I think that there's some truth to what he's saying. Some. Although I just don't think the fit was ever very good for OBJ and Baker Mayfield within that run-happy, rushing offense. But Brian, I don't know how you feel about this. I feel like if any one person blames it on one side or the other, I think you're wrong.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think it's almost kind of like the Ben Simmons and 76ers thing. I mean, it's both people played a role into this. Obviously, Baker Mayfield, it was very clear that OBJ was open and he just wasn't seeing him.
Yes.
But also on the other side, OBS, you can't be doing that.
And Odell Beckham Jr. needs his.
Oh, he's got to have his.
There was the question that came up, and I don't want to answer this. I just want to pose it. Would Odell Beckham be happier with catching 1 reception and a win or 8 receptions and a loss? That's a question.
That's a great question
that I really want answered.
And I really don't know the answer to that because I'm kind of leaning to the 8 receptions and a loss. I hate to say that, but
I don't disagree with that. But I would want to hear it from Odell, and I want to see him in a offense with a quarterback who can feed him the ball, throw it into tight windows, and get him the ball whenever he wants it. Because to this point, they tried force feeding Odell, and then when that didn't work, the team didn't have success. He got hurt. He comes back. He doesn't even look his way now. So there just never was a happy medium with him.
No.
And it needs to break up now. They need to acknowledge it. They need to move on. But the teammates for the Browns, I hope this doesn't cause a huge rift in the locker room as a whole. The teammates, I mean, they are on Odell Beckham Jr.'s side. John Johnson, we talked about it yesterday. Their safety says, we want him back. We really do. Well, you're not getting him back. Anthony Schwartz, wide receiver they drafted early in the 2021 NFL draft from Auburn. He said he's a fantastic teammate.
Yeah.
Anybody that says Odell Beckham Jr. is a bad teammate, they're wrong. They're false. That's false information. It's only for clicks.
Yeah.
And there's a story about that. So hopefully it doesn't cause a rift in the Browns locker room, but it's certainly a distraction. It's
got to be a distraction, especially when you have – I mean, obviously I get it. Other receivers on that team who are in the same meeting rooms every single day with Odell love the guy. But if you're Baker Mayfield, I mean, hearing guys go out and say, oh, we want OBJ back, and knowing that the main reason he's not on the team anymore is because of you, it's got to cause some distractions.
Yeah, but you can't force something to happen that will never happen, you know. It's a frustrating thing because Odell Beckham Jr. I still think has all-pro aspirations.
Oh, yeah.
I still think he could do it if he was put in the right situation.
One, he was in a system in New York that they didn't really force feed him necessarily,
but
he
could get him the ball,
and he got it all the time. He was their primary receiver, and he got his catches every single game, and I think he just needs to be an offense like that where he is the prime target every single time.
I want to point this out before we move on to the Grizzlies game tonight. They play the Wizards in Washington. I want to point this out. Baker, when OBJ was on the roster, Baker was better with Odell Beckham Jr. off the field.
Oh, yeah.
His completion percentage, 66% when Odell Beckham Jr. was hurt, as compared to 60 when Odell Beckham Jr. was active. Passer rating, 103 when Odell Beckham Jr. was hurt, 86 when Odell Beckham was active. TD to INT, this is jarring. This is super jarring. 20 TDs to 4 interceptions when Odell Beckham Jr. was off the field, as compared to 12 to 7 when he was on. And when Odell Beckham Jr. was off the field last year, the Browns ended their 18-year playoff drought and won a playoff game. Now, on face value, you look at that and you say, oh, well, Odell's a problem. Odell's the issue. But I would be careful with that. I would be very, very careful with that. Because what does that say about Baker that he can't win, or his focus is not the same when an all-pro receiver is on the field with him?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just say this. We're going to move on. Correlation does not imply causation.
No.
Never does. Baker deserves to be held accountable for those numbers just as much as Odell should be accountable for those numbers, if not more, because they are his numbers.
Yeah.
He's the one who when Odell was on the field, could only complete 60% as opposed to 66%. He's the one who threw 7 picks as opposed to 4, right? So you look at those numbers, you say, well, OBJ's a problem, but I think there's some nuance to that conversation. Now, Grizzlies in action tonight. They're going away. They're going to be playing the Washington Wizards, and the Wizards are a different look team than they were a year ago. Kyle Kuzma's been at it. All the Lakers guys, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Montrezl Harrell is with them. He's sort of their sixth man. He's been playing relatively well. So it should be an interesting matchup tonight. I'm actually looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, I think it's gonna be a really good game, and I don't know about you, but I don't think the Wizards have a really good record right now. I don't think they're as good as they're playing right now. And I think this is a great opportunity for the Grizzlies to go on the road and get a really good road victory.
I think I don't think it's a bad victory. Like, you think about the Wizards last year, they were sort of meddling in the very bottom of the Eastern Conference, and they barely made it into the playoffs, yada, yada, yada. This year they're okay. I mean, they have some younger, hungrier guys. Obviously, Russell Westbrook's no longer there,
which I think is better for Bradley Beal.
but I mean, truthfully, they are playing some at least decent basketball right now.
I like Daniel Gafford at that starting 5. He's a young guy that I really like that he's getting more minutes this year.
Yeah, they're 5-3, but they have lost 2 in a row to the likes of the Hawks and the Raptors. So they're in an interesting spot in Washington. Kyle Kuzma continues to sort of be the up and down, confusing player that he is. I mean, one game, 25 on 5 for 10 from 3. Next game, 2 points, 0 for 10 from 3. Bradley Beal, of course, is their star. They do have Spencer Dinwiddie. Spencer Dinwiddie's actually active too, but he's coming off of ACL, so he's still sort of getting used to it. But this is, face value, looking at the Wizards, what they've been as of late, you would say, okay, this is a winnable game. But this, I still think it is a winnable game.
It's a very winnable game.
But this Wizards team not as bad as you
Oh,
would
no,
think.
no. And like you said, they have some young guys. They're getting kind of their full roster back with Spencer Dinwiddie coming back. So, like I said, I think it's going to be a really good opportunity for them to get a good road win.
All right, now I want to point this out before we get to Drew Barrett at 5 o'clock. 5:30, we'll have our first National Bank and Trust Friday football forecast, 5:45, Taco Bell crunch time. Before we get to all that in the third hour, I want to talk about this. Ja. He is the leader in the clubhouse when we're talking about most improved player. When we're talking about odds, Vegas, all that. He's plus 600, 6-1. But I guess my question would be most improved would imply that he was coming from a place where he was underachieving to a certain extent. And is he past most improved at this point? And because this is a guy, year one, rookie of the year, best rookie in the league, 17 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. Year 2, improved upon that, 19 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. Year 3 now, through a very small sample size, 27 points, 7.5 assists, 5 rebounds, and he's the reason that this team is 5-3 at the moment. And I do want to point this out. On the MVP list, when you're looking at odds, there are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players ahead of him. And I want to name these names just
Give
so
them to me.
You, as Memphis fans, Grizzlies fans, you realize what you have. Stephen Curry's ahead, Giannis, Kevin Durant, Luka Doncic, Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, LeBron James, Damian Lillard, and then John Morant.
Wow.
There's never been a person win the most improved player and MVP in the same year. You've had guys in different years. Giannis won most improved player next year and won the MVP. But it's an interesting question when you look at it. Are you going to have a situation where Ja, by the end of the year, if he keeps up this pace, 27 points per game, like I said, you have a situation where he's finishing as the most improved player and probably top 5 in MVP voting if he keeps this pace?
Yeah, and we talked about it before the show, and I kind of want to reiterate it. We talked about, most improved kind of implies that you're doing something different, and I'm going to preface this by saying I love Jonas Valanciunas. I thought he was great. I don't think he's doing anything different. I think it's just he has more opportunity because you're not having to get Jonas his touches.
That's the point that I wanted to get across here. 100%. It's opportunity.
Yeah.
It's not him improving. It's not him doing things that he's never done before. We've seen him do the things he's done this year. Go dunk on folks. 360 layups.
Yeah.
Right? Shoot it from deep. He's getting a little better at
shooting. And I think spacing is better.
And he's more comfortable shooting. The green light's there, though. And I think that has to do with opportunity more than anything. So I know the stats are going to show a big improvement, but I think it's more opportunity than pure improvement.
Yeah, and I want to just mention something real quick before we get out of here about the Grizzlies. Our friend Evan Barnes, who we have on the show every week, he just tweeted out Dylan Brooks' follow-up appointment with the Grizzlies medical staff will be early next week, possibly Monday per Taylor Jenkins. He previously told us it would be this week. DB's still ramping up and doing well in individual play groups, so he's making progress. So hopefully, we'll get an answer early next week.
And we'll talk to Evan early next week as well and see what he has to say about Dylan Brooks. But getting him back would be substantial. Moving DeAnthony Melton into that second group, having him fresh, being able to run that group, maybe he could improve the offense. I know they played well against the Nuggets, that bench group, but even getting a boost to what they did against the Nuggets would be something that's very substantial. Rest of the show outlined for you. Drew Barrett on the other side from ESPN Fort Smith talking Arkansas, SEC, Tigers, College Football Playoff, 5:30, First National Bank and Trust Friday football forecast. 5:45 we'll get out for the week and this Friday with Taco Bell Crunch Time. But on the other side, Drew Barrett.
There's nothing more frustrating than when your garage door breaks down. You're trying to get to work and it just won't open. What's the deal? Well, I'm not a garage door expert, but my friends at New Day Overhead Doors are. I was using New Day to fix my garage way before they came aboard with us. They are your one-stop shop for all your garage door and garage door opener maintenance needs. True professionals. And get this, New Day will beat their major competitor's price, oftentimes by half. That's half the price. 30 years experience, honest, dependable, family-owned business. Don't ignore those strange noises your garage door may be making. It's New Day overhead doors for a simple repair or new garage door opener system. To schedule your appointment, call 901-351-5177. That's 901-351-5177. New Day overhead doors.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
They say this game can take you far. Your moves can take you further. Make moves that start movements.
Hennessy, spirit of the Memphis Grizzlies.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. When we put them in nice packaging, we don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
Hotty Toddy Ole Miss.
Boom! That's a way to start it. Right open down the seam. Caught. Touchdown. Caught at the 20 by Braylon Sanders. He trots into the end zone. Touchdown. We run the silk. That Corral is on a roll. He's got it to the 20, to the 10, to the 5. Lane Kiffin throws his clipboard.
Saturday, Ole Miss battles Liberty. Kickoff at 3 with pregame coverage starting at 1 on your home for the Rebels.
Catch Ole Miss Rebels football right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Hour number 3 on a Friday, Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats No Stats. Until next week, Brian Dickinson producing, and you have heard his voice throughout the day. Before we bring on our friend from Fort Smith, Drew Barrett, Autos on listener line 901-360-8255. If you have any questions, comments, concern, also you can watch us live and message us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and at Sports 56. WHBQ.com. Let's bring on our friend from ESPN Fort Smith and Arkansas, talking SEC, a whole bunch of other things, college football playoff, the whole 9 yards. Drew Barrett at DBarrett36 on Twitter. Drew, what's happening, man? You doing well?
Oh, I'm doing well. Just on my annual drive of I-49 for the last regular season game of Arkansas 7A West football.
Okay.
Got Springdale versus Southside of Fort Smith.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it's at Springdale, so I still had to drive my annual trip up I-49 instead of 10 minutes from my apartment.
Right.
But it's fine.
It's
fine. It's a big one tonight. Winner goes on to the playoffs. Loser goes home. So break out.
So it's first round, right? Just like it is here in Tennessee.
Winner goes on. Loser goes home. Something's got to give. Insert football cliche there. So that's what I'm dealing with tonight.
So is it the first round of the playoffs though?
No. This
Okay.
is the last game of the regular season.
Oh, regular season. You said that.
The
my
winner.
bad.
Yeah, winner of this game gets the final 7A. I may get a game check, or I may get to possibly go to a Grizzlies game next Friday.
Oh yeah. I'm going to work on that for you. I'm going to work.
I know.
On that for you.
I texted you about it.
How'd the Bentonville game go last week? I've been waiting.
It went exactly the way that I said it would.
Okay.
We had a running clock the entire second half.
Oh gosh.
That's why it's winner take all.
These Arkansas teams with the running clocks and the 12-minute quarters in the second half. What is in the water? Why are y'all? Yeah, I know in high school they do that though.
Yeah.
High school you have to have the running clock. You don't want to get ugly.
And you have to call it the sportsmanship rule nowadays. I got in trouble last week by calling it the mercy rule on the broadcast. The Springdale AD didn't particularly like it.
It is though.
Not the mercy.
That's what it is. And I don't want to get you in trouble. I don't want to get you in trouble. We can't do that. But
I doubt my
I'll
employees
say
are listening right now, so it's okay.
I'll say it. That is absolutely a mercy rule. And when I got mercy ruled, and it didn't happen often in my younger days. You take it on the chin. It's the mercy rule.
Yeah, it happened a lot at my old alma mater, Rossville Christian Academy, back in the day. We got mercy ruled a lot. I understand.
Man, don't depress me like that. I don't want to hear that.
No.
Were those the glory days? Was that were you were quarterback, weren't you?
Safety,
backup quarterback. Okay.
Yeah, starting safety, backup quarterback.
What kind of offense? You all spread it out?
So every year we ran a different offense. We ran the spread. Then we decided the next year we were gonna run an I formation under the center, and then we went to the pistol. So yeah,
it's hard to really
gotta find something.
It's hard.
When you go 2-8 every year, you gotta try. You gotta mix some things up.
I mean, it's hard to really get good when you're switching up your scheme every year. I can tell you from.
It also didn't help that I had 3 different head coaches.
Through
high school.
That's a good
Each
point.
one of them decided they wanted to mix it up.
No, I hear you. So, college football playoff rankings first week. Where I probably stand with the Cincinnati situation. I think it is blasphemous that Cincinnati is at number 6, Oklahoma at 8, but they still have a chance to move up. What is your takeaway from the first college football playoff ranking from this week?
Well, I'm going to steal, and I've been stealing it all week, but I've been giving credit. I've been giving credit to a friend of the show, Mike DeCourcy, and what he's always said about the college football quote-unquote playoff. It's not a playoff. It's an invitation. And the job that they did to Cincy truly proved that it is not a playoff. It is not what you do on the field. It has nothing to do with strength of schedule and quality wins. And it's all about name brand. It's all about who is the favorite child of the group. And Alabama basically proved that, coming in at number 2 with one loss. And the thing that irked me even more than Cincinnati was that Michigan State was behind them. And according to the CFP committee, Michigan State's coming off of a very impressive win against their own top 10 teams. They still have Michigan in the top 10 of the CFP ranking. So you're telling me that a win over one of your own top 10 teams is worth less than a loss by your number 14? Okay, sure. Yeah, it makes a heck of a lot of sense.
I will never understand, besides the fact that it really is subjective. And I thought we tried to move away from it. The BCS era was subjective, truthfully. You had 2 teams playing for the national championship. Anybody else was excluded, even if you were undefeated. You didn't get a chance to. I thought we were moving to a more objective playoff, and it's still the same thing to me. And I look at Alabama with their loss, Oregon with their loss, it has to mean more. The losses have to mean something. Oregon losing to a 3-5 Stanford team, not a good Stanford team. The fact that if the season ended today in the college football playoff, you would have Georgia playing Oregon, and Oregon has shown that Stanford could beat them. A playoff team that Stanford, a 3-5 team, could beat. That doesn't sit right with me, Drew.
It doesn't sit right with me. And as far as Cincinnati goes, I mean, the biggest lie and the biggest feeling that I've gotten from the CFP is talking about, and you've heard it all week, they struggled against Tulane. Yeah, I know Tulane's not the greatest team, but they almost beat Oklahoma.
Right.
Like,
and if
Oklahoma, so it's a knock against Cincy when they struggle for one half, still won the game by 20+ points, but it's not a knock when Oklahoma barely beats them. Yeah, I know Oklahoma's pretty far outside of the top four. I think they're sitting at 8 right now.
Yeah, but
nobody brought that up when they started talking about why is Oklahoma 8-0 and sitting at number 8. Nobody brought up the Tulane game when they needed excuses of why Cincinnati was sitting on the outside looking in. It's, they've struggled against the teams they probably shouldn't have struggled against. And we're struggling talking about a half, man. And how about if we're talking about struggling for a half or struggling for a game, your precious Alabama almost lost to a 4-4 Florida team.
Yep. I'm with you.
I don't understand it, but you don't use the same criteria for every team, then just call it what it is. Call it the
Power 5 Invitational.
The Invitational, the B6 teams, and that's it. Because, I mean, honestly, through we've had 10 different universities represent the top four in the playoffs for 8-9 years now. Just call it what it is. Call it the good old boys club. That's what it is. No seats, no new seats allowed.
Yep, you're correct. And I saw people getting bent out of shape about Oklahoma at 8, and I guess I can feel that to a certain extent. They're undefeated, but they've struggled against Kansas. They've looked bad against Tulane.
They're so bad.
But Drew, the difference between a Cincinnati and an Oklahoma plays 2 top 15 teams down the stretch in Oklahoma State and Baylor. They will get in. If they go undefeated, they'll get in. You can't say the same about Cincinnati. You just cannot, because I think it's purposeful at times, and how it's very arbitrary when the committee decides to leave out teams in the AAC like Houston and SMU, both sitting at 7-1, both good programs, both doing a heck of a job this year. Those are top 25 teams that they left out in lieu of Mississippi State, in lieu of Minnesota, Wisconsin. It just seems incredibly purposeful what they do when it comes down to rating anybody from the group of 5. And the fact that UTSA at 8-0, nowhere to be mentioned, that's sad to me too.
It is sad. And, ultimately, I think for Cincy, they got stiffed, but I think the conference really let them down this year. If Cincy had this type of build-up, right, back in 2017, 2018, or even 2019, when you were constantly having 3-4 teams from the American rank, if they had this built up all off season and all through the season, and you still had, undefeated or close to undefeated Memphis. You had an undefeated or close to undefeated, Central Florida. You had a Navy team that was worth its weight. You had SMU and Houston playing like we've had in years past. The fact of the matter is that the conference is down, and it ultimately is doing an injustice.
Yeah.
Because you think about 2 of the even lower teams. I mean, just go back to last year. Tulane and Tulsa, those were good programs last year. Those were good teams.
They were.
I mean, the conference has somewhat done an injustice, and it does suck for Cincinnati that everybody seems to be taking a turn for the worse. And the thing that irks me, and I think that irks a lot of people about it, is nobody was really waving this flag for Central Florida back in the day, right?
Yeah,
like we thought,
right.
they could possibly do it, but nobody was ever saying injustice.
Yeah.
Right? They are getting snubbed. The committee is doing them wrong back in the day, right? Nobody was waving that flag. The reason why people are waving this flag, it's because of the hype. It's because of the lead up. All June and July, August, September, going into the season. The conversation was real, not just local radio in Cincinnati or across the American market. It was across the country of Cincy could be a real big dark horse. Cincy, if they play their cards right, they could really get in it. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people are upset about is because nationally, media-wise, and, I was guilty of it as well. I'm not going to sit here and call the kettle black. We gave people hope. We gave people the thought that it could be a true playoff. And I think that's an injustice that we as the media, we did. Ultimately, sometimes the worst thing you can do is give somebody hope when you know there's no shot.
Well, but here's the thing, is I don't think it was wrong to give hope. Because you looked at the schedule coming into the year. Indiana was a top 25 team last year. Indiana's 2-6 this year. That's Cincinnati can't do anything about that. They still went on the road and won by 14 at Indiana. But then they had Notre Dame as well on the schedule. Notre Dame's a top 10 team. I was going through the wins this year and sort of ranking them. I would say best win of the year, Texas A&M beating Bama. I don't think anybody would argue with that. After that, you could probably say Oregon at Ohio State. At third, though, Cincinnati beating Notre Dame at Notre Dame by double digits. I thought that had to mean more. And here's you brought up and we're gonna move on to Arkansas. And I want to talk about Mississippi State as well. Their game this weekend. But you talked earlier about struggle wins. Cincinnati winning by 19 against Tulane, by 7 against Navy. I guess my question is, people talk about style points. Well, if they would have won by 55, we'd be having a different conversation. Do you think if they win those games by more, we're actually having a different conversation, or do the committee would have just said at that point, that's what was supposed to happen? We expected that.
To borrow something from, I'm not sure if y'all still do the segment, but an old 3 to 6 segment, heck yes, hell no, that is a hell no. There is no way that we'd be having a different conversation about style of points, because there is no such thing as style points in the group of 5. You don't get any credit for beating a team by 40.
A 1-7 Tulane. Yeah,
if you're an elite team like you claim, that's what you're supposed to do. We're not going to give you a cookie for going out and doing your job. But, oh, my gosh, Bama Bama beat Missouri by 45. Oh, my
yes,
God. Nobody better run into them. It's all over.
But also,
they get the cookie.
But also, if Cincinnati beats Tulane by 19, that's not enough. So
exactly.
If you're going to judge it one way, I think you have to judge it the other, and that's just not how it happens.
It never does. And that's why instead of being in a true playoff, a true champion type of system, we're in a good old boys type of club is what it is, where no new members are allowed. No matter what you do, you can't break through. And, I think my boss was joking. He told me this the other morning when we were having this conversation. He said, well, why don't you just schedule better? Well, nobody's answering Cincinnati's phone.
And you have to do it 5 years ahead of time.
Luke Fickell can call anybody in the world right now, and nobody's answering that phone. All right? The fact of the matter is, Gabe, I know. Scheduling is so out of whack. I know where I'm going to be on my 30th birthday in Tallahassee at Florida State. I know where I'm going to be at or around my 34th birthday because of scheduling. I'm 27, and I know where I'm going to be spending my 34th birthday because of how far out scheduling is.
Exactly.
So to make that argument with a straight face is absolutely ridiculous. Anybody's like, we just got to play better teams, just got to schedule better. Well, they only want to schedule you when you're bad.
Yeah,
right? Do you think we got UCLA to come do a home and home? Because we were good? No, we got it because Larry Porter.
Exactly, 100%. The fact that is... and you do hear it. Well, you need to schedule, but how good can I schedule 5 years out?
Exactly. They're not going to answer the phone.
And looking at Cincy, you tried to schedule well. You put Indiana, a Big Ten opponent, on the road, but by the time you got to it, they're 2-6. They're not playing well. They have a quarterback who's coming off ACL surgery, doesn't look as good. But going into the year, you think that's going to be a good win. But you can only deal with the schedule you have in front of you. And it's unfortunate how arbitrarily applied strength of schedule is. And I agree with you so wholeheartedly on that. All right, now this weekend, Arkansas, Mississippi State. Mississippi State comes in at 17. I think that's a little weird to me, considering the loss against Memphis, 40-point loss against Alabama. But regardless, Arkansas gets a chance at home to beat the 17th-ranked team in the college football playoff rankings. How do you see it going? Last year, Arkansas sort of got off the schneid. Mississippi State had won the last three. Arkansas did a great job against Will Rogers and company, 21-14. Defensively, they sort of shut them down. It was a little bit of a duel. How do you see it going this year?
Well, ultimately, it's going to be a little different just because, like you said, Will Rogers is going to be in there. He had such a short cup of coffee at State. I don't know if even State fans really remember KJ Calzada.
Yeah, Costello. Yep.
So, it was such a short thing. So they were able to get the win over him, able to turn him over. And it's just not going to work that way this year against Will Rogers. I mean, coming off of an incredible performance, 36 of 39 against Kentucky. And the main way that Arkansas wins this game and definitely keeps it close is a bend but don't break type of mentality. They're going to run the three-man front, and drop 8 like they did last year and like they've done for most of this season. But the main thing about this defense, it's got to be more swarm tackling. That's the thing that we've really missed over the last month. I mean, you go back and you watch some of that Texas game. You watch some of that Texas A&M game. And it was like a Broadway musical, watching the defense just flow with the play, everyone in sync and just swarm and gang tackling, putting a lot of hats on the ball, as they like to say. And you just haven't gotten that in the last month. You didn't see a lot of that against Ole Miss. You didn't see any of it against Auburn. And of course, it's pretty hard to do that when you got Georgia's offensive line to try to go through. So if this team can get swarm tackling and keep everything in front of them, I think they got a great shot. Now, Mississippi State, while it is the air raid, and it's almost a misnomer to call this team an air raid team, right? Because when you think of the air raid, you think of, well, we're just going to throw it all over the place. We're going to throw it behind you. We're going to run and gun. We're going to score on you quick. And that's State this year. State's real methodical. Yeah, they pass the ball a lot, but it's a lot of 3-4 yard dumps. It's a lot of swing passes. It's a lot of getting the ball to their running backs. Their running back is the second leading receiver on the team. He has 58 receptions this year, and that's insane for a running back to have. If you can just keep them in front of you and try to get them off the field as quick as possible and not just let them continuously have these 10-plus play drives, then you got a shot. If you continue to let them just methodically drive down, I'm worried you're just not going to have enough legs underneath you when it comes to the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I
think that's where they've really done a lot of their damage this year.
I hear that. I absolutely hear that. That Mississippi State team, and I know this is going to fall on relatively deaf ears because we're talking about Mike Leach here. We're talking about the Pirate. But I always have said if he got down, if he decided once he got down into the red zone to change up his offense just a tad bit, maybe a little more running schemes, and tried to not just throw the ball consistently in the red zone, they'd score more and take advantage of those red zone opportunities more. But obviously I know falling on deaf ears because that is not happening with Mike Leach. So I think more than anything this year with KJ Jefferson, I think he's grown a lot. You've seen the growth game to game, and there's been some low points, there's been some high points. How do you feel about him going forward into next year in his career at Arkansas? Do you expect him to be one of the better quarterbacks in the league going forward?
Well, it just depends on where you think better quarterback is. I mean, to expect him, next year or even the year after that to be, a top 2 quarterback, I just think that's a lot to ask, especially in the SEC. Now, to say that he's an upper echelon quarterback, saying that he'd be, somewhere around 5, 6, 7, I think that's a realistic goal. And the thing with KJ is and a lot of people up there just need to keep seeing that progression, right? Just need to keep seeing something new, something improved game by game. And I think the faith in KJ and the faith in Sam Pittman and Kendall Briles to have him in there, the game plan that they're going to run, is going to stay. Now, if he starts to plateau, there's going to be a lot of people chirping. I mean, you know this, Gabe, the most popular player on the team is the backup quarterback.
Yep.
So, but I have faith. I really like KJ's game, and I think the accuracy is coming along. The arm strength's there. I think the accuracy is coming along and is getting better. So I think by this time next year, I'm never going to say that, we're going to be talking about a Heisman campaign for KJ. But I think KJ could end his career at Arkansas as a very well-liked, very remembered quarterback for Arkansas, especially if the progress stays not only with him, but with the team in general.
I mean, stylistically, he is fun. And I could even acknowledge that. Running the ball, he's so big. He can barrel down on defenses. He's got 419 yards, 5 TDs rushing the ball this year. And I think passing was the question, but 15 TDs, 3 INT, you can't complain too much. But game to game, it hasn't been as consistent as I think a lot of people would necessarily want. But I think it's better than I think before the year they expected. Now, real quick before we get you out, Drew, Eric Musselman, that basketball program on the rise. How excited are people around town to see them open the season?
Oh, they're extremely excited. Tuesday is coming quick, as everyone knows. It's the start of college basketball season.
Yep.
And the main thing is the exhibition games haven't gone exactly right. Barely beat a Division II team out of Oklahoma. Got a little bit of a scare against a good North Texas team, which won an NCAA tournament game last year.
Yep.
So I think that people are excited, but also cautious just because we don't really know what we have yet. Not everybody has played. Only 9 players got to play in that North Texas game. Still haven't seen the Wichita State transfer, or actually did get to see him against North Texas, but very limited time in Trey Wade. Jalen Williams didn't play due to back spasm, and still just trying to get some other guys healthy and really just to get them to mesh, because you know this about Eric Musselman, loves the transfer portal. And when you play the transfer portal or in, say, Kentucky's case, you play the one-and-done game, it can take some time to really get things sharp and get things meshed, because you're coming from guys that were number ones, on their teams to, figure out how to play that team basketball, figure out how to truly buy in. And luckily for Arkansas, they've got plenty of time to figure it out. Outside of a few tough games in Kansas City to start off the month of December, it's a lot of cakewalks. They've got plenty of time to figure it out before conference play hits.
Yeah, and in conference play in the SEC, I'm trying to warn people right now, the SEC as a basketball conference is taking off. It really is.
Oh, it is.
When you look at these coaches and the recruiting classes.
Doing in Alabama?
Yeah. You got Brandon Miller and Noah Clowney as well in the same day last week. All the recruiting classes look fantastic. So the SEC is in good hands. Do I even dare ask you this week what your pick is for the Tiger game? SMU 5.5-point favorites, or is it just too tough?
It's homecoming, Gabe. You know the magic of the parade.
Oh,
the floats. The fraternities and sororities have been pumping all week. They're excited. Everybody's ready to roll. Tigers.
Tigers by a million. Tigers by a million.
No, we'll go the millennial route. Hashtag Tigs by 90.
I got you, dude. I got you. But he is Drew Barrett at DBarrett36 on Twitter, man. Always love catching up with Drew. Drew, thank you so much, man.
I appreciate it. You guys be good, and I'll talk to y'all next week.
Talk to you next week. Appreciate it, Drew. Drew Barrett. And I know he just picked the Tigers game. But when we come back, all three of us, and we have Brett's picks on hand, Brian Dacus, Brett, and I will make our picks on the First National Bank and Trust Friday football forecast. We'll give that to you when we come back on Sportstime.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Take
This hour of our show brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road. Online at DeSotoAutoSales.com. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience you've come to know and love at DeSoto Auto Sales. They are very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area. All the cars test-driven, checked out bumper to bumper, unlimited inventory, every make, every model. If it's not on the lot, they'll go find that special car just for you. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales, where you're treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, down-home environment. They care about your time, and they want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. You walk in within 45 minutes, test drive a car, credit approved, paperwork completed, you're out of there in 45 minutes or less. It's a guarantee, because they know we live in a world today that time really matters. DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Check out all the referrals and look at the beautiful cars at DeSotoAutoSales.com. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales.
Tiger Nation, Memphis women's basketball is ready for the 2021-22 season as the Tigers start a new era under head coach Katrina Merriweather. Season tickets are on sale now for just $49. A deal you don't want to miss inside the newly renovated El Marone Fieldhouse. To lock in your seats for all the action and excitement of Memphis women's basketball, call 901-678-2331 or visit GoTigersGoTix.com.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know: Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood, across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswangerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Did you pay a big repair bill on your existing heating and air conditioning system this year? Is your energy-guzzling heating and air conditioning system on its last leg and you think it's worth nothing? Good news, it's buyback days at Conway Services. We'll buy back your repair this year up to $1,500 toward the purchase of select Carrier Infinity systems. That's right, we'll buy back your repair up to $1,500, even if we didn't do the repair. Just show us your repair receipt from any company and we'll buy back that repair. If you didn't have a repair bill this year, we'll give you up to $1,500 trade-in for that old energy-guzzling system toward the purchase of select Carrier Infinity systems. When air conditioning systems get older and inefficient, the cost of repairs and higher utility costs almost pay for a new system. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company today, and the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old heating and air conditioning system will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
No one outfits golfers better than Edwin Watts Golf Shops. We've been fitting golfers since 1968. Utilizing cutting-edge fitting technology, we'll analyze your swing and our Foresight launch monitors and fit you with the perfect club, pair of shoes, the latest golf apparel, golf balls, bags, and more. So come by today for your complete custom fitting. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day 100% satisfaction guarantee.
Need to sell your home? You're in luck, because I buy houses. All you have to do is call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that PIN, 901-406-1101, or just save it in your phone. Bill at I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses buys houses in any area, in any condition, at any time. As simple as that. I Buy Houses is guaranteed to close in 5 days. So if you need your cash fast, just call Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. Has your house been on the market? Were you just tired of renters? Or is it just time to start over? Well, avoid repairing, cleaning, painting, and prepping your house. Just pick up the phone and call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses. If you're in Southwind, South Memphis, North Mississippi, North Memphis, Collierville, if you can hear this, just call my friend Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Barks now offers you just about everything you need for your furry family member. Daycare, luxury boarding, award-winning grooming, veterinary checkups, diagnostic services including digital x-ray, fluoroscopy and ultrasound, complete dental service, vaccinations, preventative care for fleas, ticks, and heartworms, and just about any needed surgical treatment. And did I mention that we treat cats and all types of exotic pets? We are the newest member of the Barks family and the newest, most high-tech veterinary hospital in the Mid-South. Located directly across the street from Barks and Recreation, we are a full-service hospital with a fantastic, experienced staff. If you're having problems getting a timely appointment at your current vet's facility, we are here to serve you. Call us at 901-979-8888. Barks and Medication. Excellence in veterinary care. At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises. Friday football forecast from First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. Real estate isn't something you purchase or develop or desire. It's something you appreciate, respect, and know. With real estate, there's no gray area. You either know it or you don't. First National Bank and Trust, a proud division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. They've known it since their beginning in 1886. Clients depend on First National Bank because they know real estate. Brooks Winchester, Curtis Gentry, Bill Samish, and many more can assist you in your acquisition of that hunting land, farmland, a construction project. Let First National Bank and Trust make your dreams a reality. 775 Ridge Lake Boulevard, Suite 140 in Memphis, 901-498-5763, or the office in Collierville, or online at fnbtmemphis.com. For commercial real estate, residential construction, or recreational and agriculture financing, let First National Bank and Trust help you. They're a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, where I have had an account, been a friend, and been a customer my entire life.
You heard Brett. It's the First National Bank and Trust Friday football forecast. We have Brett's picks with us. Last night, I won. I was 1-0. I'm 1-0 for the week. And the other guys, when you look at Brett and you look at Bryant, 0-1. They had the Jets plus the 10.5. I had the Colts minus 10.5. But we start with an 11 a.m. game. ESPNU, SMU visiting the Tigers, visiting my Tigers. SMU's minus 5.5, and they come in riding a hot hand. Tanner Mordecai's been fantastic. They did lose the game last week against Houston after a last-second kickoff return. But Tanner Mordecai, Grant Calcaterra, Rashee Rice, Reggie Roberson, they have a lot of guys on the outside, and we're still sort of wondering what's going to happen with the Memphis quarterback situation. I can tell you from the information I've gathered, if I was a in the NFL and I was making an injury designation, I would say Seth Hennigan is questionable. He is questionable. He could play. I'm not as positive as I was 2 weeks ago about Peter Parrish, without a doubt starting. So we will see. It'll be a game-time decision. But SMU minus 5.5 at Memphis. Bryant, go ahead with you and Brett's picks.
So I'm going to go with SMU minus 5.5. I mean, really, tell me who's going to be the starting quarterback. Because right now, I don't know, and because of that, I can't bet on the Tigers. And I think we've seen Tanner Mordecai has been, I mean, he leads the conference in passing yards. And so just how well he's been playing. I mean, honestly, you don't kick it to the guy they kicked it to last week.
Right,
They're undefeated. They enter this week undefeated. So I'm going to have to go with SMU. But on the other side, Brett's going to go with Memphis.
Brett's going Memphis plus the 5.5. And I can't believe I'm doing this. I hate what I'm about to do. But it has to, the same reasons as you. Tigers, I don't know who they're playing at quarterback. SMU's mad. They lost their first game last week. They have their coach who may or may not be there for only a few more games. I'm going SMU minus the 5.5, as much as it hurts me. If Seth Hennigan does indeed play, I think the Tigers can keep it close. Mm-hmm. They could possibly win the game. I'm not saying they're out of it, but he would have to play for them to keep it close. Now, next game, 11 a.m., SEC Network, Ole Miss, minus 9.5 over Liberty. A lot of stuff going on in this game. Hugh Freeze returning to Ole Miss after all of the drama that happened there. Malik Willis versus Matt Corral, talking about an NFL draft matchup of heaven, from heaven, for this weekend. Who do you and Brett have?
So I'm going to go with Ole Miss. Brett's also going to go with Ole Miss. My thing here is, I haven't seen how many scouts are going to every Liberty game. But I just think this is a situation where this is the biggest game on Liberty's schedule, and obviously a ton of scouts are going to be there. Is Malik Willis going to do too much or try to do too much?
I'm smelling it, by the way. I'm smelling a group lock, by the way. Ole Miss, I have a minus the 9.5. Liberty, I like them. I like Malik Willis.
Oh, I think it's going to be a fun game.
I think both offenses are very good. Quarterbacks are fun to watch.
Yeah.
I will be absolutely tuning into it on SEC Network. But I think Ole Miss just has a little too much for Liberty to handle by the end of this one. 3 o'clock on SEC Network. Arkansas minus 5.5. Just talked to Brett about, or not Brett, but Drew about this. Versus Mississippi State. Arkansas is at home.
I'm going to go with Mississippi State.
Okay.
I think they've been playing hot. I'm not completely sold on everything I've seen from Arkansas so far. But on the other side, Brett's going to go with Arkansas.
Yeah, Mississippi State with the number 17 designation. I don't think they've earned it. Arkansas plays with a chip on their shoulder when they play ranked teams. I can tell you that right now. I think Mississippi State will come out with some vigor, but I have Arkansas minus 5.5.
Okay.
I think Arkansas handles business behind KJ Jefferson. I think he'll have a decent day because he's able to do a lot of things. Mississippi State, defensively, I think they're good, but they might get confused because he can throw, he can run, he can do a lot of things. Now, 6 o'clock, ESPN2. Kentucky. This line has moved a little bit since then, but we're going based on Kentucky minus 1.5 versus Tennessee. I'll go ahead and start with this one. I'm going Kentucky minus the 1.5. You're coming off a week where they just lost to Mississippi State. They feel dejected to a certain extent, but they got to get back on track. And I think Tennessee, this may be an unfortunate sort of suggestion of what I think is going to happen down the stretch for Tennessee. I think Tennessee's already played their best ball of the year. I think down the stretch they're going to be a worse team. Hendon Hooker, injury problems. The injuries are starting to catch up with them. Teams are seeing the film that they're putting on film in general from Josh Heupel and the new offense. I just think Kentucky has a beat on it. Kentucky covers the minus 1.5.
Well, what does that make it? 2 in a row? No. 2 out of the 4 we're going to go group block.
So we're all group block.
So we're all group block, yeah, and I think you said everything I want to say. But I'll be honest, I'm kind of second-guessing myself after what Alan Bell said earlier.
Mm-hmm. I understand.
I think he made some really good points.
Yeah. Yes, he normally does.
Yeah, he knows what he's talking about.
Alan's a professional.
That's why, let me just put this out here real quick.
Okay.
Personally, I hate having 2 handicappers on the show before we make these picks because I'm always sitting there with my picks, and then they come on. So you know what?
They convince you.
I don't know about this one. Yep.
You know, I hear you. You have one that you ironed out and you had good plan for.
I'm like, this team's going to win.
Bruce tells you no chance that they win.
And I trust Bruce.
Yeah, no,
he knows what he's talking about.
I trust both of them. College football lock for you guys?
So I'm going to go with Michigan State. I've been riding them. No point in stopping now. And then, let's see, Brett is going to go Bama, minus 28.5 over LSU.
That's one that I was thinking about. I would be lying if I said I wasn't. But I'm going to go with NC State. Minus the 2.5 at Florida State. I know they're at Florida State, but Devin Leary, the quarterback for NC State's been good. 21 TDs, 2 interceptions. FSU has played better. Defensively, they've been solid. But I just don't trust Florida State's offense to be able to get after NC State's defense. Jordan Travis, okay quarterback, not fantastic. But I don't think he can put pressure on that defense. And for those reasons, I'm taking NC State minus the 2.5. What's your shock?
My shock, I'm going to go with Auburn plus 4.5. I think Auburn proved a lot last week, and so I'm going to ride them. They're playing hot. And then Brett, he's going to go South Carolina plus 18.5 over Florida.
I am going to go Auburn plus the 4.5, believe it or not,
Yeah.
at A&M. Auburn's won 3 of the last 4 in the series, including 2 of those being at College Station. And look, A&M think have been solid down the stretch so far, but I just don't think Zach Calzada's that good of a quarterback.
No.
I'm just going to go ahead and say it. And I think Auburn's defense is good enough. Bo Nix is actually on a hot streak. I think these are 2 teams where I think Auburn's on a more positive trajectory, and A&M's sort of flattened out at this point in the season. Give me Auburn. I don't even know if I'll need the points. I think Auburn can win this game straight up. Now to the NFL. We already have done Indianapolis and the Jets. Colts won that one 45-30. We move to noon CBS, New England, minus the 3.5 at Carolina. Who do you guys have?
We're both going to go with New England. I think Carolina's been a little dejected past couple weeks. Oh, do we got another one to start off the NFL? Let's go.
We have us a group lock. New
I don't know if that should
England
make me excited because we haven't been great on group.
Well, and also, I will say this. with New England, Mac Jones has been picking it up, and Sam Darnold has been awful. And I mean terrible. Now, you may have Christian McCaffrey show sighting. I know he's been taken off the IR. I'm not sure if he's been fully activated yet. But New England minus the 3.5 is the smart play here. I think that's the one you should go with. Noon, Fox, Baltimore minus 6.5 over Minnesota. What do you guys have?
We both have Minnesota.
Minnesota plus the 6.5. How about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Minnesota. That's another group. We have too many group locks this week.
Too many. No,
I'm not going to be able to come back on you guys. Minnesota plus 6.5. It just makes sense. Sunday Night Football, 7:20 NBC. Rams minus 7.5 over the Derrick Henry-less Tennessee Titans.
No, you start it.
I'll go Rams minus the 7.5.
Okay, wow. So you avoided the group lock.
Yeah, give me the Rams minus the 7.5. I think Tennessee will be fine with AP in the backfield, but that Rams team is really good. And Von Miller now coming off the edge. You have so much star power all over the field. Rams are going for it. They're not going to let Tennessee trip them up.
We both take the Titans.
Okay. Plus
7.5. Big number.
Yeah, to be fair, relatively big number for a team that's 6-2 at this moment. My NFL lock, I'm going to go Chargers minus 1.5 at the Eagles. Come on now. Chargers lost 2 straight, but the Eagles are just, they've beat up on bad teams. Eagles are a bad team. They're not very good. I don't really trust them. And the Chargers are just not a bad team. And it's only 1.5 that you're saying they're favored by. I think they win by a touchdown or so. Give me the Chargers.
You're going to laugh at this, I think. I'm going to go with Arizona. Plus 2.5.
Even though we may have no Kyler Murray, no DeAndre Hopkins.
You know.
Hey, it's fine.
I think last week was when I had the pick where I just said, it just felt right. This one was just a gut feeling. It's probably going to come back on me, but it was just a gut feeling. Brett's going to go Chargers minus 1.5 against Philly.
So same thing as me. You do your shocks.
We'll start with Brett. Brett's going to go Giants plus 3.5 over Vegas, and then I am going to go with the Falcons. I think I had it at plus 7.5. It's now down to 6.
I will say this about Brett's pick. I was almost there. But the Raiders have played well through the Gruden thing, but this Ruggs thing is different, man. This Ruggs thing is terrible.
Yeah.
I was close to picking that, but I go with a terrible game, the worst game of the weekend, which may make it the best game of the weekend. Texans at Dolphins. I'm going to go Texans plus the 5.5, and you want to know why? Tyrod Taylor's back. He should start. He makes that offense more dynamic. Bada bing, bada boom. I think they win the game straight up.
I don't know if you saw this, going back to my shock of Falcons over Saints. Trevor Siemian was announced the starting quarterback today for the Saints.
How about it? I like me some Trevor Siemian. No, actually, let me stop that.
No Phillip Rivers, kind of.
Trevor Siemian's fine.
Kind of hurt.
He was okay with the Broncos for a half second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
You never
I mean-
knew he was going to – you never thought he was going to be the guy of the future, but he was okay.
Took the job from Paxton.
I'm just going to not touch that one. But that is your First National Bank and Trust Friday football forecast. When we come back, we'll put a wrap on this week and this Friday with Taco Bell Crunch Time on Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Memphis, it's official, honey. Crab Kings is where it's at. The best seafood with 7 flavors to choose from. Try the shrimp, chicken, salmon, and fried lobster pastas. There's snow crab, king crab, dungeons, and more. Please don't forget about the calamari, shrimp, and lobsters, honey. The portions, the price, the taste is only at Crab Kings. Download our app and search Crab Kings on Google. Visit us at crabkingstn.com. Crab Kings, where the flavor is king.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. Hurricane season is upon us. Is your roof ready? Are your shingles laying down and sealed properly? Call me right now, 867-0303. They say you get what you pay for. That's why my opinion is free. Maybe you've got years of life left in your roof. If so, I'll tell you that. But if I find storm damage or a compromised roof system, I'll lay out some options for you. Don't let them tell you it needs to be replaced if it only needs a repair. Call me, 867-0303. Has your insurance company already seen it and rejected your claim? Maybe they're correct. Most of the time, they're not. They do tend to become more reasonable once I get involved, though. 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
One more segment until the weekend on Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. No stats until next week. Just want to remind you on Sports 56 98.5, so AM 560 and 98.5 FM. On Saturday, we have the Ole Miss versus Liberty broadcast starting at 9 a.m. Sunday, we have a bunch of NFL football for you. Patriots at Panthers at noon. Cardinals at 49ers at 3, and we will carry Sunday Night Football. Titans at Rams at 7 p.m. And, of course, Monday Night Football will come your way. Bears at Steelers at 7 p.m. But it's officially time for Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is Geraldo. It is crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye, Joe Haskins. It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
Looking for something new at Taco Bell? Try the original tacos meets the instant classic, nacho fries. There's bound to be some magic. Nacho fries are essentially building blocks for culinary imagination. Slightly seasoned, go with bold spices. Warm nacho cheese and sour cream. Loaded taco fries are covered with seasoned beef, nacho cheese sauce, ranch, tomato, and shredded cheese. In short, the legend of nacho fries lives on.
I learned a couple things today, Bryant. One, yesterday, my good friend Patrick Taylor Jr. got added to the active roster for the Packers. And I'll tell you about Patrick Taylor Jr. He's a great guy, really fantastic. He and his fiance are about to be married, and he has earned that opportunity in every way, shape, and form. Dealt with some injuries at the end of his career at Memphis, and he really pulled through. I'm so glad to see him on an active roster. Also, TCU coaching candidates. Did you see this? Reported by 247 Sports, of course, Sonny Dykes. The other 3 names, believe it or not, Tony Elliott, OC from Clemson. Most likely he'll turn that into more money at Clemson. Jay Norvell from Nevada. And this is the other one. This is the main event. Coach Prime. Deion Sanders is being reported as a serious coaching candidate at TCU. Doesn't make much sense to me, but hey, I'm not the one hiring him.
Why not? What I learned today, I also learned a couple of things. First, I've got to throw this in there. Jordan Eberle recorded the first hat trick in Seattle Kraken history in the 5-2 win last night over the Sabres. It was a fun game, but good for Jordan Eberle. But what I really learned last night...
So he got it cracking.
I guess so.
Yeah,
I guess you could say that.
Night.
He got it cracking. But what I really learned last night, Ty Washington.
Oh, yeah.
Point guard for the University of Kentucky up with Cal. He was number 14 recruit in the country this past year, 18 years old. He just got an endorsement with Gatorade today as his latest NIL deal. Let me give you a list of his NIL deals real quick. Gatorade, FTX, which is like cryptocurrency and NFTs.
Understood.
Trap Clothing.
Okay.
America's Best Caviar. And Porsche Louisville. Caviar, why not?
Caviar? Have you ever had caviar?
No.
You have sushi before, right?
No, I've never had sushi.
You don't like sushi?
Not a big fan of raw fish.
Come on.
But also Porsche Louisville. And would you like to know what Porsche Louisville gave him for his endorsement deal?
What?
A brand new Porsche SUV. Look, Ty Washington's living the good life. 18 years old and has a Porsche.
For him, man.
Come on now.
It's a new day.
Yeah.
It is a new freaking day. What I could have done without, and this is not, I don't know. I'm not saying in a way it's bad because what I saw the bus driver do, but I'm very happy for the Braves. I want to get that in.
Yeah.
But it was the Braves championship parade. Did you see the bus driver?
Dude was going like 50.
Oh my gosh, flying! They went all the way down Peachtree Street in downtown Atlanta, flying.
He was definitely not being paid by the hour. No
don't
chance.
know. Maybe he had another job he had to get done at like 2, but my gosh, I've never seen a bus driver go that fast in a championship parade. I hope everybody in Atlanta got to enjoy it, but that bus driver didn't give you much of a chance. Yeah, that's what I could have done without. And also, real quick, Georgia starting Sam linebacker. I sort of referred to this with Bruce Marshall. Adam Anderson, he was accused of rape. 21-year-old woman went to his house, had drinks, woke up, and found Adam Anderson on top of her, raping her. No arrest has been made. Attorney for Adam Anderson says the claims are unfounded, but he is the leader in sacks on that defense with 5.
Yeah, just a bad story out of Georgia. What I could have done without today, the 76ers fined Ben Simmons again. They fined him $360,000, which is his game check, for missing Thursday night's win over the Pistons, and they plan on doing that every game that he misses.
Well,
I mean, yeah, but
at this point, you gotta do what you gotta do.
I just wish they could figure out something, at least just something.
You know what? I've given up on that situation. I don't think they will figure it out.
I don't think they will either.
So that's what it is. What we're looking forward to this weekend: whole college football slate, entire NFL football slate. Tigers tomorrow at 11 a.m.
G League starts tonight.
Ole Miss tomorrow at 11 a.m. as well. And also, a lot of fights this weekend. Plant versus Alvarez in boxing in this UFC 268 card. I'm telling you, if you're into UFC, Usman Covington, Namajunas Weili, Edgar versus Vera.
Oh, it'll be fun.
Gaethje versus Chandler. There's so much going on this weekend. Great weekend in sports. But that is all we have for today. Thanks for joining us today and this week. Thank you to Alan Bell. Thank you to Bruce Marshall. And thank you to Drew Barrett for their contributions to the show. Brett will be back next week in his normal hosting role. Enjoy the football this weekend. Enjoy some time off. Have a good night. We'll holler at you Monday.
The Original Hot Dog Factory and Spice Wing, located at 4265 Hex Cross Road near 385. The menu offers a variety of all-beef hot dogs with over 20 choices. Try some of the best-selling favorites like the Bacon Wrap Memphis Dog and even sausages like Street Polish, Italian, or Jamaican Jerk Chicken. Open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 11 till 10, and Sunday, 11 to 8. Catering and event hosting is available. Have your next meeting or family gathering at the Original Hot Dog Factory. Now hiring team members. Apply in person. The Original Hot Dog Factory and Spice Wing.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Maybe this is you too. A lot of people do not like their health plan right now, and they're worried they're stuck with it. One that costs too much or doesn't meet their needs, or for whatever reason, they're just not happy with it. If that is you, some great news. There really is another choice. It's called MediShare, and it's such a great option, especially if you're self-employed, changing jobs, or part of the gig economy. Here's what you get when you switch to MediShare. First, huge savings. The typical family saves $500 a month. You also get a massive doctor network, or you can just use the doctor of your choice, or MediShare's free 24/7 telehealth option. And you get to be part of something you can believe in. MediShare is a community of Christians who share each other's healthcare bills. No wonder MediShare gets double the customer satisfaction ratings compared with typical health insurance. So no, you are not stuck. You've got a great alternative. Call now. 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
I'm Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark's Bensdorf Realtors, and I have to really congratulate you, Mallory, who is also with Mark's Bensdorf Realtors, for using his hunting skills when it comes to finding homes for his clients.
Thanks, Sheldon. Yes, I get them into their hunting gear by getting them pre-qualified with a local lender. Then we stalk the prey. We go on the hunt into the multiple listing service as well as other internet sites that other hunters, other agents, don't use. And once we find what we're hunting, we make the offer to beat other agents out there in the field.
Hugh, that's all well and good. But what do you do once you get the house?
Well, we can't very well mount it on the wall, but our clients will be living in their dream home while everyone else is still hunting.
Remember, while you, Mallory, moves Memphis at 497-9756, when you want the job done, call Shell Dunn at memphisrelocate.com or 483-0546. Do it now. memphisrelocate.com or 483-0546.
Tiger Nation, your men and women's basketball teams open the season at home Tuesday, November 9th. The women play at the El Morone Fieldhouse against Xavier at 6 o'clock. Men's basketball will host Tennessee Tech at 7 at FedEx Forum. For tickets to all the exciting action, visit GoTigersGoTix.com or call 901-678-2331 today.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF